Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Bleav in K Pop. This is your host Anthea, and today I'm sure that you wouldn't be believing me, but yes, I have the London based famous, very famous duo who have been producing some of our most favorite songs of 2020 and 19. They are none other than Arcades. Yeah.
Mm. Hello.
How's it going?
So, before starting off with our interview, I would definitely love to mention all their songs which are currently in your playlist, guys. So, they have worked with one of our most favorite groups, BTS, definitely. They have brought out Microcosmos, Jamaibu, and their latest album also had the duo's production Inner Child. They have worked with GOT7, We Are Young, the 10th um, single, like 10th track of their recent album. They have worked with TXT, creating their B-side New Rules in their debut album. And they have worked with ENHYPHEN with Flickr, one of their B-sides again for their debut album. And finally, last but never the least, I just made sure that this should be the last one. So they have worked with TAEMIN's wonderful single Two Kids. Yes, like it is one of the special singles of Taemin, and you guys probably knew it. I was literally screaming in the email, so I hope you heard me. So it is such a pleasure, and like being a fan of all your works, I am incredibly honored to have you.
Oh, it's great. Great to be here. Thank you for having
Yeah,
us.
thank you so much for that. That was really nice
Yeah, what an intro. We never get introduced. That was lovely.
Usually this is Matt and Max.
Yeah.
So yes, so that was my first question. So how did you start to like produce as a duo, and what is the actual reason behind the name Arcades?
I guess
You want to
we
take that?
started doing some, we were both working in the same studio block and then kind of started doing we were both doing like house music and dance music and stuff. And kind of just through chatting to each other about it, we realized that we could probably do some stuff together. And we started doing a few remixes together. And then James Reynolds, who you've spoken to before, he spoke to both of us and was like, "Oh, guys, I can get you some remix work, and what you're doing is really good. So just keep going." And we kept doing dance music together, and then it just kind of evolved into more pop music, and we did span like quite a few genres, which has kind of been really helpful, I think, for us in terms of expanding what we do. Um, yeah, and just kind of fell into doing pop music really, and then we're both from band backgrounds. We both play guitar, and so it feels a bit more natural to be in the pop world. And yeah, so having James kind of managing us and looking after us, he got us involved in working with BTS, and that's kind of where that sort of started from. And I guess Arcades as a name, don't know. I mean, I started building arcade machines for our first studio because I always wanted an arcade machine in the studio, and we had a few different names back then. We weren't called arcades, and I built this arcade machine for us to have in our studio. We played it with every artist that would come in, and for way too long. We're spending hours just standing there playing. So yeah, it just sounded like a cool name, really.
Wow, it is cool, and I hope you guys get some time. I know you're super busy, but get some time to play arcades with BTS one day.
That would be fun.
Oh, that would be really cool. I guess there was no real reason behind why we chose arcades. I think it kind of, like Max said, once we had the name, we kind of started this designing our studio to sort of fit the sound, to fit the name, and all that sort of stuff. But it's like any name. When we first had it, it sounded a little bit like, is it cool? Is it not?
Choosing a name is the hardest thing. It's so difficult. We went through some really bad names as well.
the random word generator up. trying to just see what random words inspire, and there was some terrible one. So yeah, I think we got lucky with.
Let us travel back to the time and talk about your single being featured in JHope's playlist on Spotify. So that was literally the first thing that happened, like that initiated your travel into K-pop world. So how did you guys feel?
I mean, that was pretty cool.
I think that was our real first moment of understanding their power on social media,
Mhm.
because that was our first single that we had put out, so we had about 5 people listen to it. So I mean, like, we just didn't have any listeners at all. And then obviously James got the song over to Big Hit just to sort of see what they thought, and next minute JHope had put it on his playlist, and instantly, like, we had no followers on Twitter, and then we've gone from having like no notifications to just tons of notifications. But I mean, that all died down after a few days, so it was nice to sort of get a little taste of it early on. But it was just mind blowing to see how people react to even just the song being on a playlist. That's when you see the real power and the real sort of.
It was really cool actually going on YouTube after that, and going on Twitter and then on Instagram, and like all the comments on every platform was just like, oh my god, JHope added this to his playlist. It was really cool to like see it across the board everywhere you go.
So I do agree on that, but keeping the social media things aside, I knew you guys were listening to K-pop way before getting in contact with K-pop acts. So to be, like, share one of my personal experiences, I'm just boasting, but I recently had an interview with one of the K-pop acts that I really love, and during our interview, they just mentioned that they just saw my review on their album, and I literally went crazy. I was like, did you, did you really see my review? And later did I realize that they didn't actually read it, but they just saw that I have written it. So when I got to read that your song was featured in one of your favorite groups members playlist, I could actually empathize how excited you would have been. So talk about that fanboys reaction when it happened.
I think it was really cool to know that they had listened to the track. I think that I'd been doing bits of assistant mix engineering with James on some of the earlier albums, like Wings and Love Yourself album era. And so I've been working on a lot of it, but in very small capacity, and just like, dealing with the administrative side and stuff like that. And it never had any of my music heard by the band. So that was like a really cool moment to know that they had heard something, and yeah, we were really excited, and I think that it helped it lead to more later down the line.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I did hear from James that you guys are super K-pop fans and you really wanted to work with K-pop. Like James was just telling me that I'm not so much into K-pop, but my guys, they're so much into it and they would really love to talk about K-pop with you. So that's how I got introduced to you. So I just wanted to know who were your favorites when, like before this all started, when you were just fanboys of K-pop. Who were the artists that you got to listen to and enjoy?
I think that I didn't actually know lots before. We knew BTS and GOT7, and a couple of others, Shiny. Um, but it's really been since working on it that we've kind of got to know a lot more. So I think what James was probably referring to is that we now say to him, "Oh, have you heard the new this? Have you heard the new that? Have you?" So I think since we've done that, we now know so much more K-pop than we did. Like Max said, we kind of like dabbled in and out of it before, so we did know a few bits and pieces. Um, but yeah, obviously, like I said, GOT7, Shiny, BTS. But since working, we've discovered like things like Day Six, The Rose, bands that have that guitar background that we have. So things like that is kind of cool to see that it's not, there's so much diversity in Korean music. It's just, I think that's why it's hard to pinpoint it as K-pop. If you're talking about K-pop as a genre and a sound, then it's kind of it's impossible.
Yeah.
And I guess before we wouldn't have known that until we kind of explored it a bit. But yeah, it was a bit it was quite eye opening for us to see bands like what we were in as like when we were younger, like out in Korea as well. So yeah, Day Six, The Rose, and then obviously a lot of the new sort of more rookie bands, the ENHYPHEN TXT, that aespa, the one is it aespa? Is that how
It's been really cool.
Yeah, so much between Big Hit, JYP, SM, Starship, Monster X, another one that we listen to a lot, and even Gravity as well. I thought that that this song that James sort of introduced us to, the Break All the Rules song, is a great tune.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we've started listening to a lot more now than we ever did. So yeah, now we fanboy more.
Yeah. That being said, do you think that there's anyone who we would like who we might not know?
Stray Kids. You
Do
did
love Stray Kids.
JYP
and
Yeah, love Stray Kids.
SF9. SF9 is one of my bias groups. They are from FNC. So
Okay.
SF9 and P1 Harmony. They debuted last year, and that's the group I was talking about. I got to interview them. They are from FNC as well.
Oh,
So,
okay.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to check them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Like I literally saw them, and they saw me back, and I'm sorry, but
You're still getting over it. You're still living it. That's good.
yes, like I never really spoke about this to people, so I just get excited whenever I mention it. So yeah, there are a lot of groups that will definitely DM you or mail you the numbers.
Yeah, please do. I've got a friend, Mary, who's out she lives in Seoul, but I grew up with her in Scotland, so I talk to her all the time on messages, and she's always messaging me back and saying, check it, this band, check it. So she's also a source of a lot of the music that I listen to now.
Well, you should also give a listen to the recent album of Treasure and YG debut.
Oh, Treasure, yeah.
Yeah, Treasure. The Boys, they are kind of blowing up.
Oh, okay. Don't know them.
Okay.
Yeah. Bands Mama Moo and
yes, Mama Moo. I'm actually pretty weak with girl groups. I'm sorry, but
well,
but
I mean, I think we know but we know the obvious ones, Twice, ITZY,
Blackpink.
Blackpink, but then Taeyeon as well. She's cool. She's awesome. And then like aespa. Yeah, I guess we're kind of a bit weaker with the girl groups as well, to be honest.
To add your list, I have Everglow and Dreamcatcher.
Oh, okay.
Really
Not heard.
Yes, you should.
Okay.
Well, we can go on and on, but getting back on track with my questions. So, another fanboy moment, which I would like to call it, but like BTS is literally have become one of the groups that every artist and producers want to work with. So you ask anybody, they would like to collaborate with BTS, work with BTS. So your K-pop journey literally began with BTS. So how how do you like to describe this journey? How did you feel?
Do you know, in the past, I've always said we kind of started with the biggest and its thing. And I guess that's I kind of want to take that back a bit, because after seeing this, there are so many great groups out there and stuff. So yeah, I mean, I think that working with BTS was amazing, and it's like it was a dream come true. And like you said, there's so many producers that want to work with them, so we feel so lucky. And we've kind of, again, working with them, TXT and ENHYPHEN, we've got to know the guys at Big Hit quite a lot. So they're really nice and really kind to us. But like I said, we've worked with some of the other bands and stuff as well now, and yeah, and they are huge as well, like massive, like TAEMIN. I know it's not a band, shiny, but yeah, just it was amazing, amazing, amazing to work with BTS. You know, something that until the day we die, we'll be like wearing that badge with pride.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, working with all the other bands as well has been incredible. It's been so good.
Yeah, it was a big leap forwards for us. You know, we were doing small projects in the UK, and to suddenly go onto a global platform like that. And I remember when we found out, were you in the airport? Was that Ryan?
No, I think Ryan
Was
might
that
have
Marcus?
been. No, Ryan might have been in the airport at Amsterdam or somewhere.
Yeah, and he like ran around screaming.
Yeah. I was in Soho.
Yeah. Oh, do you need to get it?
No, it's fine.
So yeah, I forgot to mention it was In the Air, the single that you made was featured in JHope's playlist, and I personally loved Stars. I gave a listen to it. I loved the lyrics. I did check the lyrics, and it was so dreamy and so good.
Thank you. Yeah, Stuart, who we work with, who is in Prides, he is such an amazing lyricist. His brain just works in a way that, you know, I've never met anyone whose brain works the way his does in terms of words. He really is special. And we work with him quite a lot now, actually.
So
Yeah.
hoping to see a lot of things.
Yeah. With Stuart, you definitely see a lot because he never stops writing songs.
Yeah.
There's lots to come.
I think we wrote 30 songs with him last year.
Wow.
And more than.
Oh, yeah. 30 songs for his new project.
Yeah, but we wrote more than.
Yeah.
And we even, this is something you might not have seen, we on Stay on B, we went, whoa, whoa. We were some background chants with Stuart. Because again, the guys at Big Hit, this is how sweet they are. We had been working on the track, and I think they were going to be using it or something that was kind of like, we pretty much got right up to the wire of the album, and then they were like, right, it's not going on the album, which is fine because that's what songwriters get told all the time. You know, every day you might pitch 7 or 8 songs that get rejected and then one gets taken, or you might get lucky, you might get 2 or 3 in a row. But this happened, and they sent us Stay just before, and they said, could you guys add some background like chanty woes because we'd love you to be involved. And I was like, oh, that's how sweet they are. I mean, you literally can't even hear it, but they still want to be involved. So I mean, that's what I like as well. There's like loyalty there, and yeah, I guess you can't really beat that.
Exactly. Like when you're lying down, you're listening to the song. Oh, it's my favorite voice, and I listen to my voice as well. So. So that would be cool. Ethereal experience. I also forgot, like I literally missed it when I had an interview with James because I never knew and he never mentioned it. The song Flickr is one of my most favorite song. We even listed out as 2020's best B-side from my side.
Oh, really?
I voted that. Yes.
Wow.
I really felt bad that I couldn't tell this to James, but I can tell this to you. And if James is listening, a big shout out. So
I will tell him.
Yeah, James will be over the moon to hear that.
Yeah.
Well, most of my friends also loved Flickr because I didn't get to check the album immediately. So one of my friend recommended to check the album and made sure that I listened to Flickr in person. So that's how good it was. And when I found the credits, it was James F. Reynolds, and I was like, I missed it. 2 days ago, I had an interview with him, and I missed it. Oh my god.
He's just done so much stuff. He's
He
worked
has.
on so much that he probably forgets half the time as well. So I
Yeah.
wouldn't.
Exactly. That really happened. Yes. So,
did
can
you
you?
did you watch Island, the show?
No, I don't watch survival shows because my heart is too weak and I can't bear I can't bear the pain of people getting eliminated. So I just literally watch it after their survival show is done. And I was
Yeah.
talking about this in one of the episodes where even when I knew the final lineup, when I go revisit some of the episodes from the survival show, I start crying for the other members. I don't like literally you knew the results. You knew who is the selected ones, the chosen ones, but still you cry.
Yeah.
No, you
That's
don't
how
want to
weird
see
I
them
am.
go. You get attached. It's funny though when you watch a program like that, you do get attached to them.
Remembers.
Yeah.
And I watch, well, I used to watch Big Brother, um, but I never cried over anyone I can remember. I probably did.
Like the first ever time I heard about survival shows, like the shows that actually reject singers and like the singers come out, was when I got introduced to One Direction. So
Ah,
the X
Right.
X
Factor.
Factor.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Ryan, that we write a lot of songs with, Ryan Laurie, he that's who we worked with, Microcosmos, and Inner Child, and Flickr. We worked with Ryan a lot, and him and his girlfriend were both on X Factor. So that's
Oh,
where they started. Yeah, they were a few years after One Direction. I think Ryan might have come like fifth or sixth or something, and I think Emily might have come fourth. Who's his
I guess so.
oh,
girlfriend?
I never
They
knew.
both did really well that year, and Ryan's gone on to write with BTS and a bunch of others. So yeah.
Yes, I did message him on Twitter for a podcast. He didn't reply.
Oh,
Oh.
It
Ryan,
happens. It happens.
we'll, we'll send him a message and
He's got a ton of followers, so it might get lost. So
Yeah.
we'll forward it onto him.
Oh, thank you so much. Like,
Yeah.
wow. I did try finding his mail, which was again so hard. And I totally agree that if James never gave me your mail, I wouldn't have found that. You don't have your mail mentioned anywhere. It's so hard.
Yeah.
we hide. We don't.
BBIP.
Yeah.
So yeah, so talking about Flickr, and I did listen to TXT's B-side just now because I haven't heard their songs yet, but I did, and I really loved it. It's New Rules, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I just wanted to hear you talk about your experience on working with other groups. Like you mentioned how you got introduced to BTS. So how did other pitches and other projects happen?
Um, what was our next one after having BTS? What was our?
Two kids.
I guess it was, wasn't it? Yeah. So I think that after
Oh,
working,
TXT.
well, yeah, but it was the same week.
Oh.
Same week we wrote those two songs, 2 days apart, I think. Yeah. So I think after working with BTS, it became really easy. Like all the doors opened for us, basically. Everyone else who was working in Korean music suddenly was like, oh yeah, we'll work with you, guys now. So we were going out and doing writing sessions here and there, and we did a great week of writing in Sweden with a load of different writers, and a few of them were working on Korean pitches and yeah, I don't think that we did Two Kids as originally as a pitch idea. I think it was just kind of going to be a cool minimal guitar kind of muted thing. But yeah,
I think
we did that with Ninos and Marlene, and it was like, it was just a cool track, and it took us a while to get it finished and get some lyrics down, and but yeah, it was kind of it was a really good productive week of writing, because on Monday we did what ended up becoming New Rules, and Wednesday was Two Kids.
and Friday was Think of You,
Yeah, it was.
which is also TAEMIN. So in that
Yeah.
1 week over in Sweden, there was 3 songs.
Yeah,
Wow.
that was a good week.
That was a really good week, yeah. But yeah, that's Ninos. I think working with SM, again, a lot of it is, we obviously got introduced to Big Hit by working with James. And like Max mentioned, Ninos Hanna, he's written tons of stuff. He's written NCT and EXO and TAEMIN, loads of stuff, Super Junior. So we did the session with him, but again, we just knew we wanted to write a really cool song. So we wrote it with nobody specific in mind. And it was actually Ninos who sent us a message and said, "Hey guys, SM have said that they really like the song, and they're thinking about giving TAEMIN the track to see what he does with it." So we were like, "Oh, okay, cool." So that was basically, again, Ninos was our James when it came to TAEMIN. He sort of he helped us out and hooked us up, and I think after speaking to the guys at SM, they knew some of the stuff that we'd done anyway. So it was really nice to meet some new people and to work with some more people.
Well, I guess the cool guitar track just became one of the most heard special single of TAEMIN.
Yeah.
Yeah, so how did you feel? That's exactly my next question. So when TAEMIN or the company announced that Two Kids is going to be part of the album, but it's going to be released, it's going to be a pre-released single, what were your reactions?
I remember actually seeing that he at one point was, I think it was on Twitter somewhere, someone had tweeted saying, "Oh, TAEMIN is in Paris." I think he was doing was it a Super M gig?
Yeah.
They're doing a live show in Paris, and someone was saying, "Oh, TAEMIN's filming a music video in the streets of Paris," and I was like, "Oh wow!" So I went on YouTube and typed in TAEMIN Paris, and then found videos of him like from at the airport, and like tons of fans there all screaming for him and stuff. And then someone had uploaded like a 10-second clip of him dancing, like on the Champs-Elysees or something. It was in Paris, and I could hear really quietly. I turned my headphones up as loud as I could, but I could hear our song playing in the background, and that was like really, really exciting to know that there would be a video for it, because we've never had a video made for our songs before. So that was super cool.
Wow. This answer is totally unexpected. Like I never expected such an answer where you literally heard it in the background,
Yeah.
which is quite exciting. Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't
It was
have
like
much to do during the day.
It was like a really small video, and I didn't have many views, and I would think like, oh, this might get taken down, but I was just like turned it right up as loud as I could. I was like, yeah, that's the song. It's gonna be a video. That was really cool.
Wow. Yeah, it is. I agree.
I think Taemin is amazing, in the sense that he's obviously got his own solo thing, and he's got Super M, and now Shiny are coming back, so he's busy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And he puts everything into everything. So fair play. I think he's wicked. He's great.
Yeah.
Like he's also known as the three generation artist because he debuted in the second generation with Shiny, and during the third generation he made his solo debut, and in the fourth generation he's back with Super M.
Mhm.
So he's like the Peter Pan.
Yeah.
we have an artist in the UK who does that. He's called Cliff Richard. He's not.
Don't
He's
compare.
about 60
Don't compare
now.
TAEMIN to Cliff Richard. That is not a good comparison.
No, but he's done. Cliff Richard has had songs in, but not the generations. He's done them by the decades. So
yeah,
he
he's
has
had like number ones over 60 years or something, right?
So he was at number one when he was a teenager, and when he was in the 20s, and when he was in his 30s, and when he was in his 40s. He's about 100 now, and he's still writing songs.
Yeah, like Taemin is my ultimate bias from K-pop. So like being a
He's
K-pop,
great.
yes, being a K-pop journalist, interviewing him is the ultimate. Now going to GOT7, you guys had a B-side with GOT7, and unfortunately or fortunately, it was the last album they released as Seven under JYP. Like I'm a GOT7 fan, and it was quite a huge surprise. So, how did you guys feel? And I just heard Matt say that GOT7 is one of your favorites. So, how did you feel to finally work with GOT7? And how did you feel after the whole chaotic news came out?
Yeah, I guess it's quite sad, but kind of a weird thing to like have the final song released. I mean, if you were to do it in order, it would be the very last one, which is a weird thing. Yeah, I don't know.
It's kind of bittersweet because for
Yeah.
us, being on an album that you really like, the people, you're like, wow, I'm so happy to be on it. But at the same time, it sort of feels really bittersweet now. Listening to it, it's kind of sad. And it's kind of but I think obviously Jackson's doing solo stuff now. I imagine Mark, Bam Bam, all them, they'll all go on and do a ton of stuff as well. I think.
Yeah. I think maybe it's something that we just do. We do like the finishing songs, like Microcosmos being the finishing song for the whole tour. It's kind of got that really sad part to it, but also quite like, I think bittersweet is the best way to describe it. It's like uplifting, but sad at the same time.
Yeah, people
Maybe
say
it just makes sense that we do the last song.
people say no, because no one will want to work with us. They'll think if we write a song with our kids, it's the last song we'll ever do.
Yeah.
No, the Microcosmos. So many people message us and say, "Guys, I can't listen to Microcosmos without crying. It just reminds me of leaving the gig." I'm like, what? Sorry. I apologize. I don't want to make you cry. I want to make you happy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get that. It's like, and that is again going back to the GOT7 thing. That's another sad thing because I think that song would have done really well live. I think that song would have translated really well in a live environment. But yeah, I'm sure, like I said, Jackson's already killing it at the moment, and I'm sure the other boys will all go off and do the exact same. Just like, the boys from EXO or any other group that shiny.
Yeah, it's not the end.
No, 100%.
Well, I'm gonna stick to the boys' promise because they did promise that they will be doing something together as Seven in the future. So
What did they edit for that?
yeah, so being an I got seven, I'm gonna stick to that. I'm gonna like being a directioner, I'm still believing it. So being I got seven, I should believe it. So like this is like experiencing twice, but still it feels like the first time you're experiencing. So that's weird. Even the Twitter was talking about this, and I was like, yes, you feel me. So right now, since they are out of JYP, I think you guys can even like it would be more easy for you to reach them out, I guess. So there will be a lot of things coming up soon,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
make sure to get in touch with the LA boy because Mark is my favorite. And
Yeah.
yeah. Like I'm spilling a lot of tea, but yeah. finally, like I know this is one of your most asked questions, but I do believe that you have a lot of plans already in your mind. So, what are the groups that you would love to work for in 2021? And what are the assignments you are having in store to surprise us in 2021?
Here, I guess, is where it becomes difficult to talk about certain things. Um, what are we allowed to say?
I mean, we pitch almost every day, so
Yeah.
you know, it's one of those things that I'm sure there'll be lots of things
I mean, what are we?
that we get a chance to work.
I think we're 3 weeks into 2021, and we've done. How many songs have we done this year?
We did about 9 last week.
Yeah, it's been a lot. We're
Wow.
working on a lot of stuff, and it's really good. I feel like some of the stuff we're doing at the moment is like some of our best work. So, I don't know. I hope for great things this year. We will see. And there's a lot of projects that we're working on our end. Like we are looking into, starting a new business, and we are developing some acts in the UK. And yeah, working with quite a few like indie artists over here as well. So that's been really fun. And that should all be coming out this year, which would be great. Yeah, trying to balance it all because we're doing so much, writing so many songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2020 was a funny year. Obviously, with everybody being locked down and stuff, but I think 2021 hopefully will be the year that people get to go out, start to watch gigs again. I guess we've got that to look forward to.
Yeah, I can't wait. Can't wait to go to a concert.
And Shiny's back.
Yeah.
Shiny's back.
Well, I'm getting some hint, like you keep reminding me that Shiny's back, and I kind of get a message. Is it happening? Is there gonna be something with Arcades and Shiny together?
I don't know.
I got that. I got the info. So let's see. Like I think you have to step in and Bleav in K-pop again when that happens. Exactly.
Well,
you did miss mentioning your favorite K-pop acts that you would like to collaborate work with this year. Are there any few acts that you would like to mention?
I think working with Espo would be really cool because for a debut, that was such a crazy debut. The video is amazing, and like the energy from the band is really cool. So I think that would be a really fun group to work with. And we've also not worked with any girl groups before, so it would be an interesting switch.
Yeah, that would be cool. I'm trying to think. We did try and actually contact bands like The Rose and stuff, but I think they are having some trouble with the contract system at the moment. Because that would just be kind of cool to do something entirely different. I think if we can continue working with Big Hit as well, because
always
they've got so many bands and stuff now that they didn't have when even we first started working with them. So there's some bands on there that we've still not had a chance to work with yet. 17, a couple of bands. So that would be cool.
I think what would also be great this year would be to go and do a trip out to Seoul, which we've been trying to do for ages and couldn't do last year because of coronavirus. So whenever we're allowed to travel again, we're going to try and get out there and see who's there, see who wants to work, see who wants to write, and I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll go continue working with SM, continue working with Big Hit, and yeah.
Yeah. So when you meet Shiny and TAEMIN, if possible, you just get a shout out for me, or you do a Zoom call so I can say hi.
Sure.
Just kidding, but it doesn't matter that if you do, So yeah, thank you so much for joining me, and I genuinely had the best time. and you guys really made my day today. So thank you so
Oh,
much.
Thank you, and you.
thank you.
So thank you for all the laughter, the fun, and some insightful words as well, because you just mentioned how much of procedure it takes and the patience. So I think from your lives, many get to learn how patience and like waiting for the lucky door to open. So that's what I call it. So thank
Yeah.
you so much for joining me. So finally, would you like to give your social media accounts? I'm sure that the listeners are already following, but in case in case they
uh,
forgot, you can mention them.
it's Arcades UK. I think on Instagram and on Twitter. So yeah, go follow us there.
Mm, yeah. And they also have a Spotify account where they release their own songs. And I personally would suggest you guys should make a playlist where you list all the songs you have produced for K-pop, because it was really hard while trying to bring in the
Compile
list. Yeah, so if you have a playlist like that, we guys would love to check it out. So
For sure.
it's just from my side.
Absolutely. It's a good idea.
So for Bleav in K-pop, you can follow us at Bleav in K-pop. You can mention the hashtag Bleav in K-pop in Twitter. And as for me, you can follow me at Anthea Isaac in Twitter and Instagram. So we also have a Discord chat. So we have some cool stuff planned up. So make sure to join us. And yeah, have a great day. Stay safe, spread love, and be loved. This is Anthea from Bleav in K-pop. Bye.
Bye.